Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will look at topics common to both the PowerBasic console and Windows compilers. Today we will look at the field command. One of the comments on a recent video reminded me there's a format of file we have not yet covered when it comes to reading files and getting data out of them. And that is the fixed column width file. What we have on the screen here is a small file. This has a mere 4 records. Each of the records has 4 fields, and each field is a fixed size. There are no headers and no delimiters. We have a forename column, which is 20 characters, a surname column, also 20 characters, a 10-character date field, and a 5-character iColor field. When it comes to reading these files, you can of course use these string handling commands, for example $, to slice the records up into our particular columns. However, there is a field command in PowerBasic which can be quite useful when it comes to reading these types of files. Let's have a look at our code. We're going to create a little function called useFields. We're going to create 3 variables. We're going to create a file handle, a variable for the name of the file, and a variable to hold each record as we read it in from the file. As we can see, each record is going to hold 4 fields. So we're going to use the field command to declare 4 additional variables, one for each field. And these are declared as the name of the variable and as field. And having set these up, we will then link the str record variable with each of these field variables. Defining the length of the field, for example 20 characters for the forename, 20 for the surname, 10 for the date of birth, and 5 for the iColor. We can do all of this before the file is actually opened. We can then name the file we want to load, use the freefile command to get the next available file handle, and we can now open our file. As you would expect, we're using the open command to open the file from input using the file handle. We're then using a while loop to actually read the file in until we get to the last record. And each record in the file is read into the str record variable. Since we've bound each of these field variables to the record variable, we can then use the name of the field variable to output it to our own log. So we'll read through the file, one record at a time, and it should output the forename to our log. Let's try running that now. And there is the forename appearing for each of the 4 records. Now, as this is a 20-character field, if we tack on to the end of this a period just to indicate where the field completes, we'll see there are a number of spaces after the field because this is a fixed width 20-character field. However, the trim command can be used to trim off these extra spaces, like so. So we can now use the rest of the field variables to actually output these to our log. And there are the 4 columns in each record, individually separated and displayed on our own log. This mechanism using the field command can be used to slice up any file that is in this kind of format. You don't have to depend on headers, you don't have to depend on delimiters. All you have to do is to define the record and how many characters each of the field variables is to contain. In many ways much easier than using $, to slice up a record, having to work out what all the column positions actually are. There is also a second mechanism we can use to actually read in such files, and that's using a user-defined type. So let's comment this function out for the moment, and we'll create a new function just for the user-defined type. And we'll call that function typeset. This new typeset function is going to perform much the same task. We'll still need a file handle, we'll still need the name of the file, and we'll still need a variable to put the data from the file into, which comprises the record. We can specify the file to load, we can pick up a file handle, we can open the file from input, and for each record within the file we'll read the data into the str record variable. what we're going to use is a user-defined type. Now we'll declare that user-defined type right at the top of our code. So we're declaring UDT record, and we're specifying the forename, the surname, the date of birth, and the eye color as being these fixed width strings, 20, 20, 10, and 5. We can then use this user-defined type within our function. So we're going to declare a new variable called uRecord, and we're declaring it as a UDT record, which is the type we have just set up at the beginning of the code. And after we've read in the value of a record to the strRecord variable, we're going to use the typeset command. This single line of code takes the data that's in the strRecord variable and puts it into the user-defined type. And having got it there, we can use a very similar method for actually outputting the data sliced up into our log. Mainly by using the uRecord dot and then the name of the element within the user-defined type. So if we run that code now, we'll see we get exactly the same output, with 4 individual fields separated and displayed for each record. So we've now seen 2 similar but slightly different ways of actually extracting column-specific data from a fixed width non-delimited file. Firstly using the field command, and secondly using a user-defined type. Hopefully you'll find these constructs useful in your own applications. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.